Hello, my name is Jeremy, just your average everyday guy. That is until sometime in my early 30s, I developed a spinal condition known as ankylosing spondylitis. It took me from this, 6 foot tall, to this, not 6 foot tall. But I wasn't going to let that get me down forever, so eventually I kicked some bad habits and started fighting back. I still get some pretty strange looks, but I'm now doing what I love, traveling and adventuring. My goal is to show other people with disabilities or anyone facing challenges that your best days don't have to be behind you and that there's always hope. So thanks for joining me, the Handicapped Hiker.
Mommy, I hate you! Mom, I'm trying to move it.
Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode. As you just saw, we have a lot to get to, but first I'd like to go over a few things. You're going to hear me say it a lot. The exercise is the best medicine. I wholeheartedly believe that, but I understand that everyone's situation is different. I'm not trying to compare my condition to anyone else's. I know there are people out there going through a lot worse than I am or have in my worst years. For those people, exercise probably isn't going to help much. I'm sympathetic to that. Please feel free to travel vicariously through my adventures, and I sincerely wish I could offer more than that. If you might be able and are willing to try, always consult with your doctor before starting any new exercise regimen or physical activity outside of your norm. Especially if you have a disability, listen to your doctor's advice, start slowly, cautiously, and listen to your body. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. Now, let's talk about the name of this channel. I've already gotten some comments about this. I know there are some people who don't like the word handicapped. Obviously, I am not one of those people. By definition of the word, a handicap is a disadvantage. Nobody took my batteries out or flipped an off switch on the back of my neck to disable me. I am still able to do most things, just in a different way, due to a disadvantage or handicap. If you're one of those people who are offended by the word, I'm sorry. I hope you can see past the name and appreciate the purpose and meaning behind this channel. And for the record, you can call me handicapped, you can call me disabled, you can call me differently abled, or you can call me Jeremy. And finally, the topic that all YouTubers take a lot of heat for: money or funding. I am not on disability, nor am I living off an inheritance. These first 2 seasons have been filmed entirely out of my own personal savings, which I worked my tail off for, working 10 to 12-hour days for over 12 years. I have no delusions about striking it rich or even making a living doing this. I'm not going to beg you for money. I'm not going to beg you constantly to subscribe, like, share. If you choose to do those things, great, thank you, I appreciate it. If you'd rather just continue watching anonymously, that's perfectly fine too. I'm happy you're here. If you would like to give something to help cover future travel and equipment costs, there will be a Patreon account linked to this channel, or you can contact me at the email address below. But please only do so if you can. If you're struggling to make ends meet or uncertain about your future, don't give your money to me. All right, now that we've gotten all of this out of the way, let's get back to beautiful Utah. I know. You don't know what you're really capable of until you've been challenged, truly challenged. For many of us, we battle every day to meet our challenge, to live quality life beyond our quote-unquote prime years and beyond the physical limitations we've been dealt. We fight back because for some of us, there is no other choice. This all started innocently enough as a family vacation. At the time I was planning this trip, I was going on 5 years sober and exercising daily as much as I could handle. My chronic pain was getting much more manageable. I was regaining mobility and relearning my sense of balance. I was getting stronger both physically and mentally. I started to think, maybe this trip could be more than just a vacation. Maybe it was time to test myself, to see if I was still alive, if I could still feel that sense of accomplishment that I hadn't felt for years, if ever. So I stepped up my training and set the personal goal of doing 10 trails in 10 days, some of which were definitely more than I could chew. As much as I hate to admit it, realistically, I still do have limitations. Looking back now, it's funny how prepared I thought I was, and how naive I could be. Little did I know how much better I would continue to get, and what incredible hikes the following summer would bring. But at this point in time, these 10 trails were a daunting task. Somewhere near the end of this trip, the idea for this channel started stirring in my head. What if this is possible? What if I can help others improve and feel this sense of a second chance, a new life? What if I can help motivate or inspire others to not settle, to try and better themselves, even if only in small ways? What if? Four of the family members who are afraid of flying left 4 days earlier and drove all the way out here from Ohio. The rest of us youngsters, plus my much older brother, flew out from Cleveland to Salt Lake City this morning, hopped into our rental van, and sped south to the town of Moab. The driving crew and the flying crew arrived within 15 to 20 minutes of each other at our rendezvous point, Lions Park, right on the Colorado River. Here, we said our hellos and checked out the river for a while before heading into town. We checked into our hotel, a surprisingly nice Best Western Plus, right on Main Street. Our rooms were in a separate building overlooking the pool area. Not a bad place to spend our first 2 nights. We then headed across the street for an early dinner at Dewey's. Afterwards, some of us hurried down the street to High Point Hummer Tours, where I had booked a Hell's Revenge sunset tour in one of these bad boys. Here we go.
Start out by climbing a giant fin here to my left called the Devil's Backbone. That's what this is called. Right? Here we go. It is my first time doing this. this car.
Daddy, I hate you.
Mom, hanging over the edge right here.
I didn't know that. Now, I'm just going to go on 45-degree angle. That's about a 23. Well, now a 45 a little. Oh, you can open your eyes.
This is Tim from Costa Rica. All of the other tour guides looked pretty straight-laced, so when Tim walked into the waiting room to get us, I was a little skeptical. But Tim was awesome. We now lovingly refer to him as the Captain Ron of Hummer Tours. The following morning, some of us got up and walked 2 blocks down the street to Moab Adventure Center, where we boarded their bus and headed upstream for a 4-hour rafting trip on the Colorado River. There were some small to medium rapids, nothing crazy, which was just fine with me considering it was my first time rafting. Some chose to swim, but I preferred to stay dry. Next, it was back to Moab to gather the rest of the group and head on to the main event, Arches National Park. Arches was designated a national monument in 1929 and later a national park in 1971. It is home to more than 2,000 natural sandstone arches, as well as pinnacles and fins. It is one of 5 national parks in Utah, known as the Mighty Five. Arches is one of a few parks that has implemented a timed entry ticket system, meaning that your National Park Service pass is not enough alone. See these folks in front of us here? They don't have a timed entry ticket, so they're being told to turn around and leave. I feel bad for anyone who comes all this way, then waits in line only to be turned away. But I understand why the Park Service has implemented this program. Many of the national parks have just gotten too overcrowded. They simply don't have the parking or the manpower to deal with it. After all, we don't want these places becoming another Disneyland, with parking lots as far as the eye can see. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
And then with this, oh, that it slipped in there. Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Right now, right up ahead is going to be one more ranger.
Okay.
All they need to see is this white dot out your window.
Okay.
And they'll wave you right through.
All right, great.
Thank you so much.
Yes. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
He's like, yeah, somebody followed the directions.
Yes, somebody did it right. Everything you'll need to know about the timed entry system can be found on the park's website at mps.gov. And with that out of the way, I'll shut up so you can enjoy the ride. All right.
Landscape arch, trail, tunnel. So we're walking to landscape arch?
Yes.
Okay. So round trip, it's 2 miles.
If we want to go further than that, we can, but that's the goal. Wow, that's a big wall of rock.
I want to find a snake. No. No snakes. Why not?
This place is absolutely gorgeous. this place. It's amazing. Landscape Arch is about a 1.8 mile hike round trip from the trailhead. If you add in the Pine Tree and Tunnel Arch Spur Trail, it's about 2.3 miles total. Not super impressive, but when you consider we just arrived yesterday from about 600 feet elevation at home to now 4,100 to 5,600 feet, it's not a bad warm-up hike. And yes, I am considering this trail number 1 of my 10 trail challenge. Since the trail to Delicate Arch, the arch seen on Utah license plates, is 1.5 miles uphill, I opted for the lower viewpoint so everyone in the group could get a look. The lower viewpoint is only about 100 yards from the parking area, and it's accessible by a wide, flat, hard-packed walkway. It's right here.
Oh. Wow, now that's magnificent.
Arches has done a great job of updating facilities and providing accessibility throughout the park. Some of the trails are even paved, or at least hard-packed. I would say most of the trails we did today, depending on your level of mobility, are probably doable for the most part. Just be careful, of course, but the good thing is this is a heavily trafficked park, and hikers are nice people, so if you get into a jam, someone will be more than willing to help you. There's a wealth of knowledge on the National Park Service website. If you go to each specific park, there's a lot of information on accessibility and things you can do, programs that are available, and you can always just go to the visitor center and ask a ranger. They're very helpful. In my experience, the rangers working with the National Park Service, as well as all the maintenance staff and administrative staff, are very, very friendly. They really like their job, and they really want to see you enjoy your parks. I know a lot of you hardcore, experienced hikers are probably rolling your eyes, but do you hear me huffing and puffing for air? Remember this, because that just goes to show how unbelievable what I accomplished just a few days from this really is. Whoa.
So this is what would be considered the backside of the double arch, and there's actually another arch over there as well, but the view out is actually very incredible. Oh my gosh, Uncle Jeremy's all the way up here. Rock definitely has some good grip,
Yeah.
even
Coming
compared.
down was easier than going up, I think.
Yeah, and I don't even have hiking shoes. I just have regular like sneakers.
Yeah, that much
What would you rate this experience?
Balanced rock, isn't it?
A 5. 5 out of what? 5. I would say this is the best arch thus far.
Which one?
Yeah, both of them. This location as a whole.
This place has exceeded all expectations. Unbelievable. All in all, we did at least 3.5 miles in the park today, maybe a little more. Not bad for our first day, and not bad for my first time off the treadmill. On the next episode, some of us get up early and head back into Arches National Park for a one-of-a-kind sunrise hike. Then it's back to Moab to meet up with the others, pack our things, and move along to the next 2 stops. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.